So I wanted to share a common issue that we have with installing the Totalscan transducer mounts for the Titan. I recently purchased a Lowrance ELITE-5 Ti, and as you can see, this transducer is extremely long and will not fit in the transducer well right here, made for the Titan. My Lowrance came with the plastic mounts. That's this one right here, and I noticed that this won't allow your transducer mount to fit flush underneath the mount over here. It actually sticks out, maybe around a good inch out in the bottom, and that's a concern. Or when you're moving your kayak around and you need that mount to be flush inside the transducer well, so that way you don't damage it. So I was trying to find a solution with the current mount that I have right now, and because this mount over here is just way too bulky and sticks out way too far, I even tried to trim down maybe around a good ½ inch right on top of the mount over here to see if it can fit inside the well. It just wasn't working out. So luckily, one of the Titan owners in NorCal area, which his name is Ryan for the Yakabas, and he found a way to mount this transducer flush inside the dedicated transducer well. And he actually used the old Totalscan transducer mounts. The older ones allow you to use the mount that's totally flush inside the well. You take a look at the difference right now. You see how that sticks out so much? This right here, it keeps the transducer inside the well a lot tighter. Now let me show you. This transducer mount fits really well in there. Just gotta put it in tight over there, and look at that. It's a snug fit. Let me give you an undershot. Look at that. That's a snug fit. And you have enough clearance to the left and the right to allow it to do some side scan. Right now, as you can see, the bracket, it doesn't match the mounting holes provided on the Titan itself. So you have to find a way to make these holes work on this transducer bracket. I'm just gonna go ahead and mount it in one of these slots over here and then drill a hole right here so that way it works. Now I know that this right here works perfect. I'm going to mark where the bolt is right here, which is pretty much on the bottom of that mounting slot, and then I'm going to go ahead and get the mounting plate and then mark the hole to drill right here so I can put my other bolt. Okay, as you can see, this is the plastic cover that goes inside the transducer well, and I drilled a couple of holes over here to try to find different types of different ways to mount this plastic bracket over here, but this just doesn't work out. So I'm going to use this as a template. Now here goes the bracket. So I'm going to take this and use it as a template. These are the two holes right here that I'm going to use. I'm going to take one of these holes and put it right there. And I'm going to take this marker over here and then make a hole right there. As you can see, that's where I'm going to drill. Perfect. Okay, so you can see the hole here that I drilled. I also pre-tightened it over here so it moves around snugly, and I'm going to go ahead and mount this inside the transducer well now. It's going to go right there. Alright, after tightening it down, as you can see, it is done. Got a little space over there. So I put a little weather stripping right here, as you can see, to cushion it, because it's not attached to this point over here. But that should give it some cushioning. Look at that. Works great. As you can see, I routed the wires that goes from the front all the way to the back, and I'm going to drill a hole over here, right here. I'm going to drill a hole over here. Now the next step is to put It's to make a hole big enough to put this cable right here. I saw this done by Headwaters and I thought it was very slick. It allows you to run this transducer cable right here onto the side spot right here inside the hole, so wires are not exposed on the deck at all. And I thought that was really clean, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that as well. I measured this right here and it's slightly 1 inch in diameter, and I want to make sure that I drilled a nice clean hole, so I bought a drill kit. I also did some research on different types of in-hole wire mounts, and I bought a few, some of them that just didn't seem like they were gonna work right. But I'm gonna go ahead and use what Headwaters used, and it's this Yakka gear right here. This electronics wire cover kit. And here's the part number. It comes with this mounting cover with 2 self-tapping screws over here. I figured that the best way to mount this is this way, so that way the wire is tilting downwards. I'm gonna go ahead and drill a 1 inch hole right here so that this cable can go in here. And that way it will look like a clean install. And before I drill this hole, I want to make sure that I'm not gonna mess up with the structural integrity of this plastic. So looks like I'm good over here as long as I mount it right down there, straight in the middle. Alright, so I got a 1 inch drill bit over here. I already made my mark over here, so there's no going back. Here we go. Oh my gosh, I made a hole on my yak. Hell no. Oh my gosh, what did I just do? And that's a big ass hole. Alright. I swear you better fit. Oh my gosh. There we go. Alright. Well, that looks clean, doesn't it? And I'm gonna mount it that way, downwards. I just think it looks cleaner that way. Now I'm going to use duct seal. Some people use silicone, and I don't see there's a wrong issue with that, but with this, I know this is flexible, you know, will harden through time. I'm going to put a generous amount in here, so that way when I screw this in here, it's going to squeeze out a lot. And that's just my method, and hope I don't get some thumbs down for this. It's just, to me, duct seal is just going to be a lot more flexible. And I can go ahead and just peel off the excess over here. Alright, there you go. There goes my install. Look at that. What do you think? Is that clean? I think it is. There you go. In the back end over here, you can see that the wire is coming out of the hole. I'm just gonna go ahead and just add a little more duct seal. I'm actually gonna pack it in there real good. There you go. I think it's pretty good, huh? The next step is to put my fish finder right here on the left side. Right here on the left side, it's just a lot more convenient for me with my fishing style. I have a 1.5 inch ram ball with a ram arm and Lowrance dedicated mount over here. And to keep the wires really clean, I'm going to go ahead and drill a hole right there. Now I end up getting the Hobie through hole mounts, the one that comes with 2. It actually needs a backing plate, and I can't reach all the way back there to put the backing plate, so I got the wrong one and I got this one instead. It's the one with the 3 self-tapping screws, so you can put the mount right in front of here without accessing the back. And as you can see, it has 3 ports over here. So this is the perfect mount over here without accessing the back. And you can see I actually marked my hole over there so I know where my mount is gonna be. All right, here goes another hole on my boat. A big one. Okay, wish me luck. All right, so take this as a lesson learned, guys. Don't use a spade bit for this install, the 1/3/8. You have to use the saw hole. You can take a look at a hole over there. It's not as clean as I expect. I wanted it, but it works. It's still within the template, and my gasket's gonna be covering this hole for the wires to go through. So it may not look pretty here, but I'm glad that I got this kit, because when you put this over like this, you're not gonna really see how ugly that hole is. As you can see. And the hole fits in perfectly. So the hole works, it just looks ugly in here. Don't use the spade bit. It really caught on, and by the time I was finishing the hole, it just took a chunk out. Now it could actually got a lot worse and made a bigger hole where this mount would not work at all, and I would have been screwed. But for now, I got lucky on this one. So I need to pull my transducer cable, which is here inside the hole. I need to pull it all the way through here. And I routed a piece of cable, routed all the way through over here, and I zip tied it to the end of this transducer cable. So that way I can pull it all the way through. Finally got it through. What I'm going to go ahead and do right now is prepare my power cable. I'm going to be running this power cable is not long enough when they give it to you. It's maybe around only 3 feet long. And I want to be able to run my power all the way from the front where my fish finder is, and the line's running all the way to the back. And prepare the wires from here, the red and black, power and the ground. And I'm going to extend the wire using 14 gauge stranded. Now this wire is a lot more limp, and you can actually route it into the boat. Really good, and it's very well protected. It's around 30 cents a foot. Laid out the wire, and I pulled the sheath off to get it exposed as well. Now what I'm going to do is splice these together. I'm actually going to solder it in there, and I'm going to protect it with heat shrink tube. So that way it's a cleaner look, and my connection's a lot more protected. I already put these heat shrink tubes right down the wires, and I'm going to go ahead and roll it over the bare wires. I'm going to shrink these so that way the splice is really protected. Now these wire is 10 foot long, and it's really long right now. And to keep it nice and neat, learn this little trick that my buddies used to do at the audio shops for cars. You can actually twist these with a drill right here to make it nice and neat. And look at it, it's nice and neat now, isn't it? Alright, so I put this wire already in here, but before that I put the gasket for the wiring mount first. And then I put the wire through here. I route the wire through this side of the boat because I want to put my battery in the back instead of the front. Now to do that, I actually had to rip out one of the foam supports so I can get access to it. And surprisingly, it was a lot easier to get through. So now my wire's all the way through, and I have my power cable. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up this right here so I can go ahead and tap in the screws and put in a wiring mount now. Now to do that, I'm gonna go ahead and use this gasket right here to make this mount a lot cleaner. Alright, so what I did here is I didn't record it because I didn't have enough hands I put a real generous amount of silicone behind this, around the gasket, around the screws, and I am ready to tighten it down. I put some small holes over here, drilled them in to put the self-tapping screws in there, just so I can guide them in. And right now I'm just gonna go ahead and tighten it down. All right. As you can see, the silicone's actually seeping out to the sides. So this looks like it's done installing that part. Next, what I did is I got the transducer cables and I wound it up inside to make it nice and neat. What I need to do now is I put the foam support block back inside here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to re-glue it back in here so that it is in place. That foam block helps support the top deck from going down. So the wires all pulled out right now. So I just got done cleaning up my wires over here, put my fuse box, and put my terminal jacks for my battery. Like I said, I plan to put my battery over here. For now, this is my old battery until I get a brand new, I get a bigger capacity battery. Okay, battery's in place. And I plan to run like a battery box in here with easy plugs and a waterproof box. But this is gonna work for now. Close this up. Everything's plugged in. And we have juice. It works. Now I'm just gonna need to go ahead and clean up this whole boat over here so I can finalize my install. All right, so my install's complete. Let's go ahead and summarize what I did so far. Let's start with the Totalscan Transducer mount. You can see in there, I had to use the old metal brackets, not the plastic ones that came with a Totalscan. It stuck out too much. The old metal bracket, they still make them. You just have to buy it separately. They just don't come with the Totalscan anymore. As you can see, I used the metal one, the metal bracket in there, and it fits flush. You can barely see it sticking out on the bottom, which makes it completely safe for transport. Want to see how I mounted it? The wire's up over here, and I used the Yak Gear wire mount. We have to be careful by putting the wires through here, because in the back there's very limited space for you to use any backing brackets. So this actually works out fine because it's front mounted using self-tapping screws, and I used duct seal putting to completely smash it in there and make it watertight, and it works out fine. There goes my head unit right there. It's currently on. The head unit right there, the wires around it through the side mount over here, using the 3-way wire hole mount by Hobie. I want to come out over here to get limited wire exposure. Both the wires are tucked in inside, and the power wire is routed through the back right here. I don't have a waterproof box. I'm going to upgrade this battery later on, so that's another project. But it has a fuse box, and it's mounted in the back with foam pieces. So that is my install. The way I planned is to make sure that I have very minimal wires exposure, and I think I succeeded at. I hope you like it. I hope you get some ideas from me on how to install your Lowrance Totalscan transducer under your boat, as well as how to mount your fish finder with very little wire exposure from your boat. Thank you for watching, and this is Mobbin Outdoors.